Hello, and welcome to my first devlog for Lucen. My name's Chris, and I'm the sole developer of Lucen. I recently left my job as an effects artist in feature film visual effects, having worked on such titles as Christopher Robin, Aquaman, Spider-Man Far From Home, and It Chapter 2. I decided to quit to focus on my own work, and I'm now working on Lucen full-time. Lucen is an action-adventure game in which you play as a boy who wakes up to find his village shrouded by darkness and must quest up a mountain to ask the old gods to restore light to it. Along the way, you fight monsters and explore an ever-changing landscape, discovering more about the world around you. Lucen has been in development for a few months, and I've decided to keep a devlog here for those who would like to follow my progress. More than 10 years ago, daydreaming with some friends, we started to plan out a story for a game. Elements of that now form the basis of Lucen, and I'm really excited to finally bring it to reality. I love games with compelling stories as well as gameplay, and I want to tell one about being thrust into the unknown and learning to survive on your own. I've been a big fan of hack and slash games for as long as I can remember, and I've always wanted to create a game that combines enjoyable combat with a strong narrative and exploration. Development is currently in early stages. I've created the main character, combat mechanics and a combo, a spider enemy, as well as the environment, assets and art style look dev. My experience in visual effects and history of game dev as a hobby have helped me in understanding and learning the aspects of game development, so I'm responsible for everything in Lucen except sound design and music. For this, I will be teaming up with an amazing composer named Lucas Peel. To create Lucen, I'm using Unreal Engine 4 along with Houdini to create assets and animation. I'm also using a little bit of ZBrush and Photoshop for bespoke aspects. Houdini allows me to develop numerous tools for the creation of assets due to its parametric and procedural nature. As well as this, it has a plugin for Unreal Engine that allows me to use tools created in Houdini directly in the UE4 viewport. Currently, my entire environment, landscape attributes, grass placement, tree and rock placement, is all defined inside an asset created within Houdini. I am also working on assets like a rock generator and procedural ivy generator for adding variation to the environment. The use of Houdini is instrumental in creating this game at scale. As a solo developer, the time taken creating assets and manually placing them in the environment one by one is hugely prohibitive. Houdini allows me to parameterize and proceduralize this process by creating tools that function on a set of rules that can be rapidly iterated on and populate the environment much quicker right from within Unreal. Houdini is the industry standard for this, having been used in Far Cry 5 and many more modern titles with expansive environments. I'm also creating my character rigs and animations within Houdini, which has very powerful tools for this stuff. I'm not an animator by trade, and it has been a learning process to keep improving my timing and theory, but I'm really enjoying it. I've built my main character Lucen using a base mesh as a starting point. I then extruded parts and simulated them as cloth in Houdini to make his clothing conform to him. I have plans to improve the character design in the future, adding more accessories and visually interesting elements, like cloth, that will be simulated in Unreal. The spider model is a placeholder created procedurally within Houdini. In the future, I'll bring this into ZBrush to add some sculpts and polish it up. I will also be creating other monsters. Some ideas I have right now are ants, scorpions, slimes, and flying creatures. As I create these, I will use quickly made placeholders to iterate on the gameplay before finishing their designs. I'm currently working on a modular environment kit to use for building up an ancient stone ruin scene. For this, I've defined a process in Houdini for chipping and fracturing, and procedurally modelling the pieces with a consistent style. I'm also developing a procedural ivy tool and a shading pipeline that allows me to shade the ruins based on their curvature and AO maps with lots of control. I also created the trees and bushes in Houdini using a procedural branch and leaf density system to allow me to create variations really quickly. The shading and lighting is a really important aspect to me, and I've spent a lot of time working on the look of the dynamic lighting and materials, as well as the colour and post-processing. I'm using toon shading models to have extra control over how the light interacts with objects, and I've used this to develop the art style of Lucen into something that I'm pretty happy with, and hope other people like too. There are a lot of challenges I'll face developing Lucen as a solo developer, so I'll need to keep my scope in check as well as be consistently working and finding creative solutions to problems of scale. I'm excited for this journey and hope you'll join me on it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm hoping to do a devlog every fortnight, so if you'd like to see more you can subscribe, and feel free to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord. The links are in the description.